भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं च नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयन्तीः। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवा। भगवति उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 4, Vidura approaches Maitreya, text number 10. Tasya anraktasya munirmukunda prabodha bhavan antakandharasya ashanvato gamanu ragahasa samikshya vishram mayan uvacha. Maitreya Muni was greatly attached to him, the Lord, and he was listening in a pleasing attitude, with his shoulder lowered, with a smile and a particular glance upon me, having allowed me to rest, the Lord spoke as follows. So Uddhava is speaking to Vidurji, that although Maitreya Muni was listening in a pleasing attitude, with his shoulder lowered means he was really humbly coming forward with lots of um, encouragement to listen. But the Lord looked at Uddhavji with a smile and particular glance upon him. Having allowed me to rest, the Lord spoke as follows. Although both Uddhava and Maitreya were great souls, the Lord's attention was more on Uddhava because he was a spotlessly pure devotee. A Jnana Bhakta, or one whose devotion is mixed with the monastic viewpoint, is not a pure devotee. Although Maitreya was a devotee, his devotion was mixed. The Lord reciprocates with his devotees on the basis of transcendental love and not on the basis of philosophical knowledge or fruitive activities. In the transcendental loving service of the Lord, there is no place for monastic knowledge or fruitive activities. So this is Lord's special mercy, special dealing, special relationship with his devotees. He gives them full attention. Even in Gita, he says, Samoham sarvabhuteshu name dveshasti na priya. I'm neutral to all. I don't envy anybody. Nobody is dear to me. But ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maitateshu chapiham. But those who serve me with love and devotion, they are in me and I am in them. Means we have a special bond. The gopis in Vrindavan were neither highly learned scholars nor mystic yogis. They had spontaneous love for the Lord and thus became their heart and soul. And the gopis also became the heart and soul of the Lord. Lord Chaitanya proved the relationship of the gopis with the Lord as supreme. Herein the Lord's attitude towards Uddhava was more intimate than with Maitreya Muni. So this we have to understand. Only by devotion service we can attract Krishna. In fact, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a beautiful story of Shivanand Sen. Shivanand Sen was a Grihastha, and every year when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had moved to Jagannath Puri, he would arrange the devotees, about 300 to 400 devotees, to travel from Navadvip to Jagannath Puri every year. And in those days, it wasn't like you buy a train ticket and you go. It's like they would walk or they would go by bullock carts and they would stop on the way and it would take long time to reach Jagannath Puri. And he would make sure all the arrangements are done for the devotees, their prasadam, their transportation, their staying facilities on the way. And one year, a dog came along. And Shivanand Sen had to pay extra for that dog to get on the boat because boatmen said dogs are not allowed, and Shivanand Sen had to pay extra. But he paid. But he was thinking this dog somehow is very fortunate that he wants to accompany the devotees to Jagannath Puri. So Shivanand Sen make arrangements. At one point, because there were some tolls, and Shivanand Sen told the other devotees that you go ahead and stay in the village, all the arrangements are made, and I'll go and pay the toll and I'll then come. And then he told the devotees, take care of the dog. But the devotees, when they went ahead, somehow they forgot to take care of the dog, and the dog left. And Shivanand Sen, when he came to that place where everybody was going to stay, he didn't see the dog, and he was little upset. What happened to the dog? And nobody knew. When they reached Jagannath Puri, Shivanand Sen saw the same dog was sitting at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu with his lotus hands, he was feeding the dog coconut. First, he was eating the coconut, and he was feeding him the remnants. Meaning, Mahaprabhu is ready to bestow his mercy even upon the dog who is dear to his devotee, Shivanand Sen, and not upon big scholars. Dog is an innocent animal. He didn't have any philosophy. All he got was mercy of Shivanand Sen, that's all. But the scholars, because of their attitude, monastic philosophy or other imperfections, they don't approach the Lord in the proper mood, so Lord does not give them mercy. So here Krishna also, he was partial. He was more concerned about Uddhava than about Maitreya. Text 11. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Vedahamantaram Anupsiptikam Te Dadami Yatta Durvapamanya Satre Pura Vishwasrijam Vasunam Mat Siddhi Kaming Vasotvaishta. O Vasu, I know from within your mind that what you desired in the days of yore, when the Vasus and other demigods responsible for expanding the universal affairs performed sacrifices. You particularly desire to achieve my association. This is very difficult to obtain for others. I awarded unto you. Uddhava is one of the eternal associates of the Lord, and a plenary portion of Uddhava was one of the 8 Vasus in the days of yore. So there were 8 Vasus, and somehow one of the Vasus was the plenary expansion of Uddhavji. The 8 Vasus and the demigods in the upper planetary system, who are responsible for the management of the universal affairs, performed a sacrifice in the days of yore, desiring to fulfill their respective ultimate goals in life. At that time, an expansion of Uddhava, acting as one of the Vasus, desired to become an associate of the Lord. The Lord knew this because He is present in the heart of every living entity as Paramatma, the super consciousness. In everyone's heart, there is a representation of the super consciousness, who gives memory to the partial consciousness of every living entity. The living entity as partial consciousness forgets incidents of his past life, but the super consciousness reminds him how to act in terms of his past cultivation of knowledge. Bhagavad Gita confirms this fact in many other ways. So Paramatma, he reminds the Jivatma about all his desires, because Jivatma will forget as soon as he changes body, he forgets everything. In fact, the sanskaras that Jivatma has, it's basically reminded him by Paramatma himself. Everyone is at the liberty to desire as he likes, but the desire is fulfilled by the Supreme Lord. Everyone is independent to think or desire, but the fulfillment of one's desire depends on the Supreme Will. This law is expressed as man proposes, God disposes. In the days of yore, when the demigods and Vasus performed sacrifice, Uddhava, as one of the Vasus, desired to enter into the association of the Lord, which is very difficult for those busy in empiric philosophical speculation or fruitive activities. So that Vasu, particular Vasu, was expansion of Uddhavji. Uddhavji is eternal associate of Krishna. So he, because he's expansion of Uddhavji, he desired to have association of the Lord. But the other persons who are busy in empiric philosophical speculations, Gyan or Karma Marg, they have practically no information of the facts about becoming an associate of the Lord. They actually either want to enjoy themselves by Karma Khanda, or by Gyan they want to merge into the body of the Lord. But they don't know how to become an associate or servant of the Lord. Only the pure devotees can know by the mercy of the Lord that the personal association of the Lord is the highest perfection of life. The Lord assured Uddhava that he would fulfill his desire. It appears that when the Lord informed him by his indication to Uddhava, the great sage Maitreya finally became aware of the importance of entering into the association of the Lord. So, Lord was speaking to Uddhavji, and Maitreya Muni, because of his Agyat Sukriti, he was there, and then he was gaining the mercy, the nectar that he was hearing, that the Lord spoke to Uddhavji. And then Maitreya Muni became the reciter of Bhagavatam to Vidurji afterwards. Text 12. Saesha sadhu charmo bhavanam asaditaste madanu yanmam nrilokan raha utsrijantam dishtya dadrishvan vishdhanu vrityam. O honest one, your present life is the last and the supermost, because in this term of life you have been awarded my ultimate favor. Now you can go to my transcendental abode, Vaikuntha, by leaving this universe of conditioned living entities. Your visit to me in this lonely place, because of your pure and unflinching devotion service, is a great boon for you. When a person is fully conversant with knowledge of the Lord, as far as can be known by perfect living entity in the liberated state, he is allowed to enter into the spiritual sky where the Vaikuntha planets exist. The Lord was sitting in a lonely place, just about to disappear from the vision of the inhabitants of this universe. And Uddhava was fortunate to see him even at that time, and thus received the Lord's permission to enter Vaikuntha. The Lord is everywhere at all times, and his appearance and disappearance are merely the experience of the inhabitants of a particular universe. He is just like the sun. The sun does not appear or disappear in the sky. It's only the experience of men that in the morning the sun rises and in the evening the sun sets. The Lord is simultaneously both in Vaikuntha and everywhere within and without Vaikuntha. So the Lord was about to unmanifest his pastimes, and he was about to disappear when Uddhavji and subsequently Maitreya approached him. And this is what Krishna is saying, that when this life is over, then you will attain Vaikuntha planet. He was telling Uddhavji. Although Uddhavji is eternal associate of the Lord, he doesn't need to be told, because he is always living in Golok Vrindavan. But just to make sure that everybody understands how to attain, how to get to Vaikuntha planets, only by devotion service one can go there. See, Krishna here is saying, your visit to me in this lonely place, because of your pure and unflinching devotional service, is a great boon for you. So that devotion service continues even when one goes to Vaikuntha planet. Text 13. Pura maya proktam ajaye nabhye padme nishannaya mamad sargay jnanam paraman mahima vabhasam yata suryo bhagavatam vadanti. O Uddhava, in the lotus millennium, in the days of yore, at the beginning of the creation, I spoke unto Brahma, who is situated on the lotus that grows out of my navel, about my transcendental glories, which the great sages describe as Srimad Bhagavatam. See, here Krishna is clearly telling who is he. He says, I spoke unto Brahma, who is situated on the lotus that grows out of my navel. Means Garbhodaksha Vishnu and subsequent and before that Mahavishnu, Karandaksha Vishnu are all expansions of Krishna. It's not like Krishna is expansion of them. They are expansion of Krishna. The explanation of the Supreme Self as given to Brahma and already explained in the second canto of this great literature is further clarified herein. The Lord said that the concise form of Srimad Bhagavatam as explained to Brahma was meant to elucidate his personality. The impersonal explanation of those 4 verses in the second canto is nullified herein. Sridhar Swami also explained in this connection that the same concise form of the Bhagavatam concerned the pastimes of Lord Krishna and was never meant for impersonal indulgence. So again and again, Prabhupada is talking about the impersonal feature, that's not not in the scope of Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is all about Krishna, Krishna's devotional service, his personal form, his relationship with his devotees. Text 14. Ityadriptoktaha parmasya pumsaha pratikshanaanu grihbhajano aham snehottharoma skhalipakshirastam munchan chacha pranjalira abhavashe. Uddhava said, O Vidura, when I was thus favored at every moment by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and addressed by him with great affection, my words failed in tears, and the hairs on my body erupted. After smearing my tears, I, with folded hands, spoke like this. So Uddhavji is completely getting sentimental, and his hairs are standing on end and tears are coming because he is thinking how merciful Krishna is, that even at the last moment he thought of Uddhava. Konvishte pat saroj bhajam sudurlabhavartheshu chaturshu vapiha tathapi naham pravrinomi bhuman bhavat padambhojane nishevanutsukaha. O my Lord, devotees who engage in the transcendental loving service of your lotus feet have no difficulty in achieving anything within the realm of the 4 principles of religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. But, O Great One, as far as I am concerned, I have preferred only to engage in the loving service of your lotus feet. So Uddhavji says, Oh my Lord, devotees who engage in your service, they can easily get dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. But I only want loving service, that's all. This is the aspiration of a devotee. All he wants is service. More and more service, that's all. Those who are associated with the Lord in the Vaikuntha planets achieve all the bodily features of the Lord and appear to be the same as Lord Vishnu. Such liberation is called Sarupya Mukti, which is one of the 5 kinds of liberation. So Sarupya means the same kind of form. So in Vaikuntha, every person in Vaikuntha, every man has 4 hands and a bluish body, just like the Lord. Only a few differences are there. Like the Lord has Vajanti Mala, he wears Vajanti Mala. He has that Bhrigupad on his chest, and he has Shrivatsa, the golden tuft of hair, which is representative of Lakshmi Devi. And so these are the features that Lord Vishnu has that differentiates him from other male members in the Vaikuntha. So all the female members in Vaikuntha, all the female, they look like Lakshmi Ji. So that is Sarupya Mukti. In And then there are four more muktis: Sarupya, Sai, Sayuja is what we don't want. Samipya, Sarupya, Salokya, Sarshti, and Sayuja. So Samipya means to stay near the Lord after perfection, after liberation. Sarupya, to get the same kind of form. Salokya, to live on the same planet. Sarshti means to have the same opulence as the Lord. And Sayuja. Sayuja means merging in the Lord. So that's also liberation, but the devotee never asks for this because in Sayuja Mukti there is no chance for service. In the other Mukti, there are still chances for service. So the devotee always wants to do service. The devotee is engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, never accept the Sayujya Mukti or merging in the rays of the Lord called Brahmjyoti. The devotees can achieve not only liberation but any success in the realm of religiosity, economic development or sense gratification up to the standard of the demigods in the heavenly planets. But such a pure devotee as Uddhava refuses to accept all such facilities. A pure devotee wants simply to engage in the service of the Lord and does not consider his own personal benefit. This is what Prabhupada is saying. A pure devotee wants simply to engage in the service of the Lord. That's all. They don't even say, I just want to do this kind of service. Whatever service they get, they want to just do it. That is pure devotion service. And serve it with full love and care, and with full enthusiasm, with, with full enjoyment. They serve whatever service one gets. Text 16. Karmani anihasya bhavo bhavasate durga shreyotaribhya palayanam kalatmano yatra madayatashvamaha swatmanarite khidyati dhir vidamiha. My Lord, even the learned sages become disturbed in the intelligence when they see that your greatness engages in creative work. Although you are free from all desires, yet to take birth, although you are unborn, that you flee out of fear of the enemy and take shelter in a fort, although you are the controller of invisible time, and that you enjoy householder life surrounded by many women, although you enjoy in yourself. So these are all apparent contradictions that Krishna shows in his pastimes. So those learned sages, because they're trying to understand Krishna's passion through their intelligence or through their knowledge, they misjudge him. Devotees understand it properly. Pure devotees of the Lord are not very much concerned with philosophical speculation in regard to transcendental knowledge of the Lord. Nor is it possible to acquire complete knowledge of the Lord. Whatever little knowledge they have about the Lord is sufficient for them because devotees are simply satisfied in hearing and chanting about the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. This gives them all transcendental bliss. Some of the pastimes of the Lord appear contradictory, even to such pure devotees, and thus Uddhava as a Lord about some of the contradictory incidents in his pastimes. The Lord is described as having nothing to do personally, and it is actually so because even in the creation and sustenance of the material world, the Lord has nothing to do. It seems contradictory then to hear about the Lord personally lifts the Govardhan hill for the protection of his unalloyed devotees. So these are all contradictory statements. If somebody wants to see contradiction, somebody wants to see complete um, assimilation of Lord's pastimes, of Lord's features, he sees that. Because Krishna lifted Govardhan hill for the protection of his devotees, to remain with the brahmacharis for 7 days, to exchange this feeling of love and devotion with his devotees. So this exchange of feeling or reciprocation of love can only happen when he does something for the devotees. That cannot happen when Krishna says, "Oh, all energies are working under my direction, so let them go and take care of you in Raj." Where is the reciprocation of love between Krishna and his devotees? And this reciprocation of love is what gives Krishna most pleasure, and the devotees also. So it's a little long purport. So I'll go towards the end. There is no one who knows the distinction between the conception of Brahman and the conception of Supreme Brahman is certainly the real transcendentalist. There is no bewilderment for such transcendentalists. The Lord Himself declares in Bhagavad Gita, even the great sages and demigods can know hardly anything about my activities and transcendental potencies. So that is Krishna. So He is ready to do anything for His devotees. Just like in the battle of Mahabharata, although he had promised that he'll never pick up weapon, but when Bhishmadev said, "Tomorrow Krishna will pick up weapons or I'll kill Arjuna." So to protect the words of Bhishmadev, to protect the life of Arjuna, Krishna broke his own promise. That is him. That's him and his love for his devotees. If you think, oh, he has so many energies and he could have let energies work. Yes, he could have. But how then the love for his devotees would have been shown? Just like once Akbar Maharaj asked Birbal, that Birbal, what is it that you all say your Lord is so great, Lord Krishna is so great, Krishna is so great, but why he has to protect his devotees himself? He can tell any of his energies. He has so many demigods under him. So many of his expansions are there. Why he himself has to do it? So Birbal thought, he said, Akbar Maharaj will not be able to understand in this way. I have to really show him. So a few days later, Birbal asked Akbar Maharaj, Maharaj, I have arranged a wonderful uh, boat ride for you in Yamuna. And please come, please bring all your family members, your ministers, your generals, your army leaders, everybody, please bring. It's a big boat, we'll enjoy it. So Akbar Maharaj was ready. Yes, yes, let's go. So when in the middle of Yamuna, the boat was sailing and beautiful weather, and Yamuna ji was full of water. I guess today also Yamuna ji is full of water, but that is flood water, not the regular water. And when Akbar was watching this whole scenery, he saw towards the back of the boat his servant, maid servant, Dasi, she picked up little son of Akbar and threw him in Yamuna. Akbar was, what are you doing, Dasi? But he just jumped in Yamuna. He just wanted to protect his son, so he jumped and all the ministers and this army majors and all the senapatis, they jumped after him and they all swam towards the boy when he was drowning. But Akbar went there, reached there first, and Akbar, when he picked up the boy, he saw this wasn't his son, it was just a mannequin. Now he got more angry. He was like, okay, you maid servant, let me come back on the boat, I'll teach you a lesson. So he came back and everybody came back on the boat and Akbar approached the maid servant. What in the world did you do? Why did you do that? And maid servant said, I don't know anything. Birbal told me to do it and you please ask Birbal. So Akbar went to Birbal. Why did you tell her to do these things? Are you crazy? Birbal said, when she only threw the mannequin, the doll, who looked like your son. It wasn't even actually your son. But why did you jump? Why didn't you tell your minister? Why didn't you tell your commanders to go and rescue your son? Akbar said, are you crazy? This was my son. I had to go and rescue. I couldn't even think of that. I'm Akbar. I thought I'm father. So Birbal said, no, this is the same thing with the Lord. when he sees his devotees in trouble, when he wants to reciprocate with his devotees, he forgets that he is the Lord. He only remembers his particular relationship with that devotee and he acts accordingly. So those who are not devotees, those who don't have even a tinge of bhakti, they cannot understand this feature of the Lord. Just like in the painting behind me, Lord Krishna himself, of course, Srimati Radharani is supreme anyway, but Lord Krishna is massaging her feet and putting some painting on her lotus feet. That is Krishna. That's how much he loves his devotees. So anyway, I'll stop here, see anybody has any questions or comments.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was very nice
You're
talk.
welcome. You're welcome, Anta.
Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Jai Shila